Sup guys, I'm pedebeats, and today I'm going to show you how you can make a crazy, aggressive, dark beat as a beginner. So this video will be for those that already know how to use FL Studio a bit. If you don't, just mess around with it like for 2 days and you will be able to follow this video. But enough chatting, let's get into it. Okay, I just loaded up FL and we're going to start by creating a melody. Some people prefer to start with drums, but I don't really like to do that. And the best way to start a melody is to use a piano and then change the sound later. So I'm going to use the stock piano from the FL Studio packs. I like this close grand. If we right click this note icon, I don't know how to call it, we can select a scale that we want to work in. And that's really useful if you don't know music theory. So like in 95% of these trap beats, you will hear the minor natural scale. And here, yeah, D sharp can work. I really like also Chi and C sharp. By selecting the scale, it's not going to change anything in the beat, it's just going to visually show us the notes that we can use and they're always going to sound good. But let's create a chord. We can just keep an highlighted note and then another one. And that's a minor chord. And I'm going to copy this by clicking Ctrl B. And now we can move down the middle note of the second chord. Now this progression is already used a lot in these beats because this is creating a lot of tension. There is no problem to use it again, but it's going to sound a little bit generic. So what we can do is just to pitch up maybe the middle notes. And play around with the bounce too, so let's shift this like this maybe. Or maybe the fifth note of the scale. Ooh, that's a good melody. It sounds good, but it's missing some bounce, and bounce in melodies is really important because in this way we're going to make the drums hit a lot harder. So let's add some notes. Yeah, that's good. Now that we have something like this, we can just copy this over honestly. We can add also a bass note for now, but I will go more in depth about it later. And I'm working at 140 BPM, but we can speed this at 150. Yeah, that's good. But as I said at the start, we are going to change the sound. So if you are searching for a paid plugin, I suggest you to try Analog Lab, that is really good. Expand is really good too, and it's often discounted. And also Contact has some fire sounds. If you are searching for some free ones, just get Labs cause it has some crazy sounds and they are all free if you download the expansions. And also Contact has a free version where you can download a lot of free banks. I think I want to use Expand for this video. That's pretty good. Let's search for another pad. Let's try these action pads. That's perfect. So I'm just going to try to pitch this up. Yeah man, it sounds fire. Okay man, that's a really nice result. So now that we have a melody that sounds like this, we will need to add some effects on it to make it sound better and make it sit well in the mix so it won't clash with the other melodies. So the first VST that I always add is an EQ, because we will need to remove this low end. We can boost a bit the high end. And I'm removing the low end because all the sounds are made with frequencies and the 808 has a lot of low ones. So to make it sound clear and punchy, we need to remove those frequencies from the melodies. Let's add also stereo shaper, making it sound more wide. It's so much better. And the VST that is going to make sound good all your melodies is half time. Now there is a free alternative in Gross Beat if you have it. Here in Momentary we can click half speed. That's insane, but I like to use half time because we can customize a bit. Yeah man. Let's try to pitch this up actually again. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, I'm already mixing all my melodies. Yeah, we only added one, but to reach around minus 12 dB. In this way we can make the drums really cut through the mix. Yeah, that's good, man. Now that we have a melody like this, we can also try to flip it and turn it into a texture. In this way we're going to have a variation by just making one melody. So let's add on this yak delay. Yeah, really the first one, man. Yeah, let's render this. Oh, and to render it I click Ctrl-Alt-C. In this way we have this audio waveform that we can cut and tweak. It's pretty much making it sound always the same, so I'm going to cut this and maybe create a fade-in effect. And let's see how it sounds on top of our first melody. So I do pitch it up. It's adding a really good texture. We just made a simple melody, we could just add some drums and it will sound fire. But to keep the listener engaged throughout all the beat, we will need to add some other textures and counter melodies to make it sound more interesting. So I'm going to start with the textures. So let's use the first piano that we added to add these bass notes. Let's duplicate it one octave up. Yeah, this is adding a lot of energy. And if you don't know what note to use, it's really easy. We can just go see the first chord that we made. So we used these notes, and then we pitched up the middle one. But our lower note is D sharp, and this will be our bass note. Yeah. As you can see, these art beats are a bit different from music in general, because they are basically using one chord, that is D sharp minor, and we're never changing the bass note. And this is what is going to create that dark vibe. If you want to create a more melodic vibe, we can go down 4 notes from the root note. And then up. But for this time, let's just stick with D sharp. And now, man, it's finally time to add a counter melody. Let's maybe duplicate this piano. If you don't know what sound to use, I suggest you to try. The piano always works, violins are going to sound insane, also choirs and bells. To create a counter melody, let's use the same notes that we already used here. So we use these 4, and we can use a different bounce. Let's copy this over, but removing the D sharp. Maybe here we can go up. Yeah, man, that's good. Let's copy this over. Now, I use these 2 notes also because they are only one semitone apart, as you can see. They are close together. And that's going to create a lot of tension. Always use them if you don't want your beat to sound melodic. Now, of course, this melody doesn't sound really good right now. I want to try to reverse it. So let's try to go in my Nova one-shot kit. Let's use a piano shot. Yeah, I like this one. And as you can see, it's in F. So we can go here and right-click F. And we can also tweak the envelope. We don't need to have a tech, the hold all the way up, and some release. Yeah, it sounds good. Before reversing it, I'm going to click Alt-L to make them legato, and then Alt-Y to flip them. So then we can render this in the playlist, and it's going to have the same progression that we used before. But before doing that, I want to add some slide notes. So we can double click here, select this slide icon, and let's use the same notes but up an octave. Okay. Let's just copy this over, and finally we can render this. Now let's double click and hit reverse. The slides are crazy. Let's add an EQ also here, because we always need to remove the low end. And maybe also some reverb, let's use the stock one. And let's pen this on the right. I penned this melody on the right, because in this way it's going to have its own space and sound good also with the other melodies. So now I think this is good, we just need to add another texture. I want to show you how to create one by yourself. So let's open this original CP choir that I really like and maybe copy the first melody that we made. We don't even need to reinvent the wheel. Now I'm going to solo it, so if you want to flip your melodies, I suggest you to get Fi Micro that is free, setting a pitched up delay. Or we can add my own VST. By the way, this VST is free and you can download it on my website. Creating a pitched up delay, but we have the dry wet knob all the way to 1, so we are only hearing the delay. And actually I like it. Yeah, let's add uptime on it. And then some reverb. Okay man, that's crazy, and let's just render this again. When you use this VST like Portal and the one that I made, they're going to mess up with the start time of the sample, so let's copy this over. Okay, right now we only have like 4 sounds by just making 2 melodies. And yeah, we can just start to arrange these and then add the drums. So let's click split by channel. So for the intro, we don't want to overwhelm the listener. Let's make something simple. We can pitch down the main melody actually. And maybe then bring in the piano. Yeah, this will be the first part of the chorus, and we just have the main melody and the texture. Then we can just repeat the same but add the piano. And this will be the second part of the chorus. For the verse, you want to keep the verse empty, because in this way the artist is going to have more space. So let's only have the texture actually. Yeah, that's a crazy switch. Nah, I don't think this texture sounds good in this beat, so let's remove it. Yeah, it happens to just make a melody and then in the arrangement you don't want to use it, but we're missing some variation for the second part of the verse, so we could just bring in the pitch down melody. Okay, I like that. And now guys, it's finally time for the drums. Now, also for the drums, sound selection is really important. And in this video, I'll use the drums from the Nebula multi-kit. And by the way guys, it's a huge bundle and it's perfect to make beats like this. So if you want to check it out, the link is in the description. And there is also a free version, so don't miss out. So let's start with a clap. Now we could use something like this. A simple clap. Or we could use a snare. I like to use this one. And the clap always goes there, like in the middle of a bar. Let's make this clap louder. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to create a drum bass. So let's link this snare to it and remove it from the master. So now this sound is going to go through this channel. And I like to add some distortion on it. Just slightly. And then we can remove again the low end from the drums too. Yeah, this sounds good. Let's keep the clap simple. Let's create some variation at the end. These are drums and are not playing a note. It's good to try to pitch them up or down to see if it sounds better. Now I think in C works. Yeah. Now let's add the hi-hats. I like to use these ones that are really sharp, and we can click fill each 2 steps for now. We need to link these hi-hats to the drum bass. And now it's time to add some rolls on this. So I like to select 1/3 step. In general, you can place rolls wherever you want, but they sound really good before the clap and with the 808. And maybe we can add something before the clap. And I always like to add one at the end. Okay, then we can just copy this over. Remove this first roll. And create some variation here. So I like the bounce. I'm not going to change it, but let's add some lower notes. And we can just copy this. Click Alt-R to randomize the pen and the velocity. Just a bit. And also the pitch too if you want. Okay man, that's good. Now let's add a counter snare too. It's always used to create more bounce, but we need to pay attention to not overcomplicate it. Now here the most used spots in trap beats are these two for snares. Yeah, that's good. Copy this. Also here, just play around to see what spots are going to sound good. And if you want, we can add also a roll at the end. So I don't think it's needed in this beat, but let's add it. So also this is really easy. Let's select 1/3 step. Copy this like 4 times. And then copy this over like this. Or we can use also half step. Yeah. And also here it's good to play around with the pen. Okay, now I'm going to add the hat. The hat is really important to add bounce and some energy to the beat. I always like to use this one. And basically we can follow the hi-hat rolls rule. It really sounds good a lot before the clap and with the 808. So let's have one at the start. And to create some more bounce, I just shifted it to be before the clap. Yeah, really simple like this can work. Now, this sounds really good. I think the drums are already kinda crowded. We don't need to add anything else. But if you want, you can add also some perks, like this laser works well. Like everything that you want is going to sound good, and just use it kinda like a counter snare just to create some bounce. But now it's finally time for the 808. So in these beats the spins is always going to win. So let's use it also today, but there is nothing wrong to experiment also with other 808s too. So let's right click the 808 and select cut itself. So with the 808 you want to follow the notes that used in the piano bass notes. So here we use D sharp. As you can hear, it doesn't sound bad. Pay a lot of attention to not use the wrong key with your 808 or it's going to sound a lot bad, like... Yeah, it's really bad, and if you can't hear it, it's going to come over time and with practice. As you can see, the volume of the 808 is slightly above the 3. But we don't want that, we want it to be louder, so let's increase it. Yeah, that's good. And of course on the master I have a soft clipper with the stock settings just to prevent clipping. In fact, in this way the soft clipper is going to distort the 808 before making it clip, and it's giving that really punchy sound. Now, talking about the 808 patterns. There are some common ones that are always used, like this one. Or also this one is used a lot. So yeah, let's use it. And here I'm changing note, but actually at the end it sounds good. Like if we started with this note, the beat is going to sound really bad. But at the end we can. Let's add a later roll here. Yeah, usually the 5th note of the scale and the 6th one are going to sound really good. And here at the end we can go crazy. Let's go up again to the 6th note. We can just add a roll there too. I like to use half steps. Yeah. Now we just need to adjust some stuff, like for example remove some perks from the verse, maybe create a pause here. This verse is crazy. Yeah, that's hard. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, remember to drop a sub, like and comment, and check out this video if you want to see more hard beats.